Did you know that global franchise restaurants have special menu options that are not available in the United States? In this series, we're going to recreate those items so you can try them at home too. Hello everyone! In this episode of our Around the World series, we're making the chewiest donut in the world, the Chewisty donut from Dunkin Donuts, Korea. This is my favorite donut from Dunkin, and I don't understand why they don't sell it here in the United States. We're going to make the original version and a mocha flavor today. Let's get started! Into a large bowl, sift 50 grams of cake flour, 50 grams of tapioca flour, and 2.5 grams of baking powder. Then add 25 grams of sugar. Then into a separate bowl, sieve 50 grams of silken tofu, and since this is a half recipe because I'm making two flavors, add half a beaten egg. Add 1 grams of salt and mix well, then add this to the dry ingredients. Then measure out 15 grams of water and 5 grams of olive oil. Mix well and add that to the dry ingredients also. Then give it a good mix. After mixing, this was way too wet and sticky, so I needed to add more cake flour until it's not so sticky. Place it into a smaller bowl and cover with wrap while we make the mocha dough. Wash out the big bowl and add the dry ingredients like before, but this time we're going to add 5 grams of cocoa powder. Then again in a separate bowl, tofu, half egg, and then 10 grams of espresso instead of water. Add to the dry ingredients and mix. And the complete opposite of last time. It's way too dry and firm. And upon a few moments of thinking and review of the video, we totally forgot to add 25 grams of sugar. So in goes 25 grams of sugar. Hopefully this works. Mix and it's back to being too wet and sticky. I'm not sure the science of how sugar makes it wet, but add a little flour like before if needed. It looks the same now. Place it in a smaller bowl, cover, and cross your fingers. Next, it's time to form them. Portion the dough into 5-gram balls and place them on a flour surface. Then roll them smooth and place them on a square of parchment and form them into a soon-to-be yummy and chewy ring. After completing the ring, use a wet finger to smooth any spiky parts. But don't use too much water because next we're frying them. Repeat the process with the mocha dough, then move to the stove. In a small pot with oil at 150 degrees Celsius or 300 Fahrenheit, place the whole thing, paper and all, into the oil and fry. After about 30 seconds, the paper should release by itself. Remove it and keep frying until golden brown and delicious looking. Remove and place on a wire rack. Repeat with the mocha dough. Now we need to make a couple of glazes. First, a plain by combining 75 grams of powdered sugar and 15 grams of milk. And the second, a coffee flavored one by adding the same 75 grams of powdered sugar but using 15 grams of coffee instead of milk. Dunk your donuts, then place back on a wire rack to drip and allow the glaze to harden. After 10 agonizing minutes, it's finally time to taste. So chewy I can barely pull it apart. Still warm and a little crunchy. And luckily the mocha one came out good even with the sugar mishap, so all is well. Honestly, I can eat them without the glaze, so if you don't like things too sweet, then skip the glaze. Or if you want a thinner glaze, add a few extra grams of milk. I did it this way for the delicious looking thumbnail. Waha! They are great for breakfast with coffee, snack with tea, or dessert, but try to eat them the same day. The texture really changes after too long, and you'll be sad. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned to see what will be cooked next.